What's up, everyone? It's Cannan, and welcome to what is pretty much the next up from my Internet Mysteries series. From now on, these will be called Creepy Mysteries. Pretty much, it'll cover a range of any kind of mystery, whether it be internet-based, a disappearance, a haunting, a true crime. It's all open. Though these will be shorter compared to, say, Mysterious Darkness, where me and Jess cover stuff in a lot more detail. So this series will be for small stuff, where Mysterious Darkness will be really big cases. So for the first episode of Creepy Mysteries, I wanted to go over the disappearance of Brianna Maitland. The first time I ever heard this case, I thought it was legit creepy. Like, there was part of it that sent chills up my spine. Not just the details of the disappearance, but things just like how her car was found sets a very creepy precedence behind this. Now, this happened in 2004, I believe, so it's almost, I think this upcoming March will be like 18 years since the disappearance. So I'm pretty much going to go over the case with you guys. And yeah, let's see how this unfortunate event took place. Now, please remember, I'm still sick, guys. Jess is still sick, so if I cough or, anything like that, please forgive me. I may have to take a drink of water. But here we go. So, Brianna Alexandria Maitland was born October 8th, 1986, and she disappeared on March 19th, 2004, after leaving her job at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, Vermont. She was 17 years old at the time, and her car was later discovered the next day, backed into the side of an abandoned house about a mile from where her workplace was. She has not been seen or heard of since, and due to a confluence of circumstances, there went several days before her family or her friends reported her missing. We'll get to that later, but first, let's go a little bit over her early life. As I said, she was born October 8th, 1986 in Burlington, Vermont, to Bruce and Kaylee Maitland. She was raised with her older brother on their parents' farm in East Franklin, Vermont. In her youth, she was extensively trained in jiu-jitsu. She attended Missisquoi Valley Union High School before transferring to Enosburg Falls High School during her sophomore year. So prior to her disappearance, on her 17th birthday in October of 2003, she decided she wanted to move away from her parents' farm. Her mother said that there were no serious stresses at home, but that Maitland wanted more independence and to be closer to a group of friends who lived 15 miles away and attended a different high school. Maitland enrolled at her friend's high school, but her living arrangements were unstable as she moved in and out of several friends' homes. By the end of February 2004, she dropped out of high school and moved in with her childhood friend, Jillian Stout, in Sheldon, Vermont, approximately 20 miles west of Montgomery. To complete her education, Maitland enrolled in a GED program. 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, Maitland was physically attacked at a party by a female former friend, Kaylee Lacrosse. Sorry if I've butchered that. The motive for the attack was unclear, though Brianna's father, Bruce, would later state that he believed it stemmed from jealousy over Maitland's interaction with a male peer at the party. One of Maitland's friends at the party claimed that Maitland, despite her martial arts training, refused to fight with Lacrosse, who subsequently hit her in the face several times while Maitland was seated in a truck. The altercation resulted in Maitland suffering a broken nose and concussion. She later filed charges against Lacrosse. The complaint was dropped 3 weeks after Maitland disappeared, and police stated that Lacrosse was cleared of any involvement in her disappearance. Now, I kind of understand why she didn't fight back, because most of the times, from what I've been told personally, I took a karate class when I was in college, but I never took a serious karate instruction, but my mom did when she was younger, and she said that her teachers always told her to avoid fights because once you're trained in any kind of art, you can seriously hurt somebody, even kill them. And so you're kind of taught to walk away from most instances instead of actually fighting. Also, I can kind of understand why she wanted to move away, and get her independence and all that, because that goes through that's everyone. Eventually you want to move out and gain your independence, not necessarily all the time at 17, but totally understandable. Though I wonder if her parents knew how unstable her home life was, moving from one friend's house to another. You would think they would have tried to help her, and maybe they did, and maybe she turned it down. Who knows? But this leads us to Friday, March 19th, 2004. On the morning of Friday, March 19th, 2004, Maitland took an exam to receive her GED. After completing the test, she and her mother had lunch to celebrate the occasion. Her father was out of state working in New York at the time. Her mother described her as being in good spirits and that Maitland had discussed plans of attending college. So hey, she was attempting to build herself up. That's always a good thing. After lunch, Maitland and her mother spent the afternoon shopping, and while waiting in the checkout line of a store, Keeley said something outside caught Brianna's attention. She told her mother she would return shortly and left the store. Keeley completed her purchase and met Brianna in the parking lot and noticed that her daughter seemed unnerved, shaken, and agitated. She told her mother that she needed to go home and prepare for her upcoming work shift at the Black Lantern Inn, which is a restaurant in Montgomery. Not wanting to pry, Kaylee did not ask what had happened and dropped Brianna off at Stout's home between 3:30 and 4 p.m. This was the last time she saw her daughter. At some point before leaving for her work shift, Maitland left a note for Stout saying that she would return after work that evening. Maitland then departed for the Black Lantern Inn in a 1985 Oldsmobile sedan registered to her mother. So someone or some people may have been ushering her to come out. Maybe it was people she knew, maybe people she was acquainted with, went out, and something about it did not go well. Now, of course, later there would be some accusations of drug dealers and things like that, which could very well have been what this was, because apparently there were later reports that leading up to her disappearance, she did take part in some drug use, but nothing concrete ever came of that, but we'll get to that in a second. After completing her shift at work, Maitland clocked out and left the Black Lantern Inn at approximately 11:20 p.m., so very late at night. She told her co-workers she needed to get home and rest before working the next day at her second job. By all accounts, Maitland was alone in her vehicle when she left, but apparently she never made it home. So then we come to the next day, Saturday, March 20th, 2004. Early the next afternoon, a Vermont State Police trooper was dispatched to an abandoned house on Route 18 in Richford, about a mile from the Black Lantern Inn. Maitland's Oldsmobile was found backed into the side of the house. Known locally as the old Dutchburn house, the siding of the home had been breached by the rear end of the car. A piece of plywood that had been covering a window lay on the car's trunk. 2 of Maitland's paychecks were on the front seat of the car, and outside it, law enforcement observed loose change, a water bottle, and an unsmoked cigarette. The trooper assumed the car had been abandoned by a drunk driver, and a towing company took the vehicle to a local garage. So already strange. So if someone did indeed take her, why didn't they take the paychecks? You know, because that's one thing you would awfully think of, you know, take the money. So already there's things aren't adding up. Maitland was not reported missing for a number of days. Her mother did not learn about the discovery of Maitland's car until 5 days afterward. Stout saw Maitland's note on Friday, March 19th, spent the weekend away, and found the note undisturbed when she returned on Monday. So that's another reason. Her roommate or friend who she lived with was gone for the entire weekend and didn't get back until Monday, so she had no idea. Assuming Maitland was staying elsewhere, she did not call Kelly until the following day. On Tuesday, March 23rd, Kelly began calling various people in order to find Maitland, including friends as well as her employers, none whom had seen or spoken to her. So, yeah, things are not looking good. And at this time, she is still unaware that the vehicle that her daughter had been driving had been recovered. And she filed a missing persons report that day. On Thursday, March 25th, Maitland's parents gave photos of her to Vermont State Police, and a trooper showed them the picture of the Oldsmobile that was found at the house, upon which they did identify as her car. And her mom said in interviews that she was instinctively revulsed by the photo. And believe that somebody else and not her daughter had left the car in such a way, which if you see the picture of the car, which I've got up on screen with me, that, like, you know, that's a very odd way to leave your vehicle, especially if you just abandon it. Like, of course, yeah, you could say you lost control, backed up into the building, and of course to, I guess, not get busted for busting into the house, you just left the car. But it screams foul play, definitely. As far as witness sightings, after her reported disappearance, several individuals came forward to report sightings of the vehicle that they had seen at the night that she disappeared. A man who drove by the house between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. on March 19th to the 20th said the car's headlights may have been on. He said he did not see anyone in or around the car. A second man who drove by between midnight and 12:30 a.m. on Saturday recalled seeing a turn signal flashing on the car. And then around 4 a.m., a former boyfriend of Maitland's drove past the scene after a night of partying across the border in Canada. He thought he recognized the vehicle, but he did not see anyone in or around it. The next morning, some passing motorists found the scene odd enough that they stopped and took pictures of it. One of the photographers reported some loose change, a water bottle, and a bracelet or necklace on the ground next to the car. Now, as far as the investigation goes, at first, the police were skeptical of foul play. They thought that she had just ran away. Now, usually, sadly, when someone vanishes like this, especially when they're a younger person, the first thing the cops go to is runaway, because that's just the go-to. That's the go-to that police first go with, is that, they ran away. They were pissed off at their parents, so they just said, you know, screw this, I'm out of here. You know, wreck the car, then just, you know, leave it. So yeah, they didn't accept any foul play at the time. The area surrounding the old Dutch burn house was combed on foot by police and search dogs, but nothing was found. Maitland's vehicle was processed by the state crime laboratory for evidence after the car had been impounded at a local garage for several days. Upon the car's return to the family, her father noted that his daughter's ATM card, glasses, contact lens case, and migraine medication had all been left inside. So they didn't even take her ATM card. So something went bad. It was later concluded by police enforcement that foul play was the probable cause of Matilda's disappearance, as it was even stated on a flyer that the FBI would later put out, because they believe that the way the car was left was staged. Matilda's parents publicly speculated that she may have been abducted by multiple people, stating that it would have been difficult for a single assailant to subdue her, giving her jiu-jitsu training. And, you know, there was this very long accusation that she had been abducted by drug dealers who she actually had an acquaintance with, because some say that she had been experimenting with drugs there for a little bit. And the details that the police were given were very, very dark, you know, that she was killed and her body was dismembered and all that, but the police could never prove what was sent to them actually happened. And the latest update has been since like 2016, where the police say that they actually did take DNA from the car, but it's still not been released to the public. And then in 2016, the barn or house, whatever, that the car was found against burned down. And that's been about it. A woman was seen at a casino. I don't know if it was in Las Vegas, but a woman was seen at a table in a casino somewhere that looked like her, but they were never identified. So this girl's has vanished for almost 18 years. You know, almost 20, and nothing has still ever been found. No body, no remains, nothing. So what could have happened to her? Well, of course, someone got her. Could have been someone she knew, who she trusted. That's why she went without any kind of struggle. Who knows? Could she have run away? Could she have just wrecked the car? Friends came and got her. They went to Canada. You know, who knows? But the thing is, something would have been found out by now if she was up and running around. I don't want to just go ahead and say, oh, she's dead, but then again, no body's been found. Nothing. Like, it's still an ongoing thing. By all accounts, I hope she's all right. I hope there isn't a perfect explanation why she's disappeared for this long, but hopefully she's alive. You know, people run away and start new lives elsewhere all the time. It does sound like she was getting her life together, you know, getting her GED, thinking about going to college, but then again, things were not going very well anyway, so who knows? She could have met someone and ran off with them. Who knows? I don't want to think someone would do that to their parents, because it does sound like she had a good relationship with her mom and dad. You would think she would have let them know, so I don't know. Definitely, like, I always want to stay on the positive side that yes, she could still be alive. Maybe she did just run away, but it screams foul play, definitely. And if the police think so, then I'm inclined to think so. It's scary, you know, it's really scary that something like this could happen to you see, that's the thing. She was on her way home from work. Did she stop here to meet somebody? But how did she end up backing her car into this building? Like, was there a struggle and, you know, someone hit the brake or whatever, and the car just went backwards into the vehicle before they carted her off? Who knows? It's really scary. It's a really scary story. But thoughts are with the family. Hopefully something is found out soon. Hopefully this is not a mystery for too long. But yeah, that's the first episode of Creepy Mysteries. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button. In the comments, let me know which next mystery would you like for me to cover. Remember, anything is open, whether it be an internet mystery, a disappearance, a haunting, cryptids, true crime, anything. As always, guys, this is Cannan. Me and Jess love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.